I often describe brand like a cake. Most organizations focus on the icing, the logo, the messaging, the campaign, and the visuals. That's the part that everyone sees. So if you're thinking of like the cake exterior, you're seeing the frosting, you're seeing whatever decorations on top. So I see this as like the logo and the messaging, the visuals, the outer sphere of the brand. As I say, that's the part that everyone sees. But I feel that the way I've been thinking about it lately is that the part, like the real substance of the brand, is what's in the cake, is what's underneath the ingredients. So if you don't have the foundations right, it doesn't matter how good the icing looks, the cake collapses when you cut it, or it might be undercooked. The foundational ingredients within the cake in terms of brand, I'm seeing as like trust, consistency, culture, how people behave internally, but also how clients are treated. So all these communication lines, how leadership shows up. And these are, I like to see it as, these are the flour and eggs of a brand. Without them, there's nothing holding the structure together whatsoever. And so then there's what I like to see is the secret ingredients, the human touches, the moments of care, clarity, warmth, or thoughtfulness that aren't required by regulation or policy. That makes people feel something. In finance and corporate environments, these small human moments, how a message is written, how a client is treated, how leadership communicates, become the chocolate chips or the sprinkles on the cake, right? So they're not the foundation, but they make the brand memorable. And so this is the way I've been thinking about it lately. And also the culture and employee behavior, I feel is like inside the cake where you get like that fondant cream within the edges. So they're sort of ingrained in the cake. So, in culture and employee behavior have to continue to be throughout the cake at all times, all that keeping things together. Um, they're not a layer that you can add later. They shape how the whole thing tastes. So, and it's also about like perception of how things are being seen and all these things. You only really understand a brand when you cut into it and see how it's made and not just how it's decorated. So the risk for leadership is when brand becomes all icing, all the pretty things, how the cake is looking and it looks wonderful. So when leaders only focus on how the organization looks externally without understanding the internal ingredients, blind spots appear. So I've been thinking about it, and you sort of end up with a really strong looking exterior, but weak substance underneath. It's like watching a film trailer without ever seeing a full film. You think you understand the story and you get the gist of it, but you've only ever seen the surface and you don't get to see the process, the storytelling at full speed. And so then you're struggling with engagement. If you're seeing that beautiful cake it's and you presume it's well cooked and everything else, and you're seeing the decorations on top, and really that is the logo, that's the messaging, that's how it all looks, and it looks hunky dory and it looks great. When you cut into it, you see the inner workings of brand and how important everything is, from storytelling to communication to employees and culture, all taking part of that cake.